Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on another Facebook Live. We've got Liz Coombs, Chris Recchia and Lynn Webb from Deloitte talking about their Deloitte Insight Day on the 19th of February. So guys, what can we expect from a Deloitte Insight Day?
Shall I kick off? Okay. Well, Deloitte Insight Day, first of all, really important to stress, it's not a recruitment event per se. So the day is all about providing transition support and as much advice and networking opportunity as possible. This one is going to be focused more on cyber, so if people are interested in that, it's definitely worth signing up and coming along to. And what we really try and do on the day is we try and make sure that we provide lots of case studies, so people that have been in your situation a few years ago will be standing up there talking about how they've made the transition, what kind of transferable skills they're now using in their day-to-day roles. There'll probably be some tips around how you sell those transferable skills and how you civilianise your CV, and there'll be lots of networking opportunity as well. Anything to add on that?
No, I don't think it's just the day is created as an opportunity for the individuals that are going to be attending. So, you know, like all these things, you've got to make the most of it. And I'd encourage people to use the forum to ask questions and inform what is a really important transition plan as you move from the military to commercial life, and you know, it's set up for the individual, so make the most of it.
Oh, great. Speaking of transferable skills, what do you think veterans bring to the business, and what areas of transition do they find the most challenging?
Shall I go?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So I think the first thing to register is that veterans bring, you know, a wealth of experience, and individuals shouldn't underestimate what it is that they bring. What you should absolutely do is spend a little bit of time thinking about what those things are. And I always encourage people to look at their military career and think about what those attributes are, what they can bring, and importantly, how they can add value to an organisation. And so things like management, leadership skills, kind of what I would expect, and you know, people can absolutely bring those. But then there are people that have, you know, been in really key positions across the military that bring really technical skills. I think the Insight Day this time has been set up specifically around the cyber piece in recognition of the fact that actually there are some leading skills in the military that industry wants and needs in what is a really hotspot area, both for industry and the country more broadly. And so take some time to think about what those things are and how you're going to add value, but there's loads of transferable skills.
Great. So a lot of our candidates are concerned that Deloitte is just about accountancy and tax services. Is this true?
No. No, it's very diverse, and people probably aren't aware of the scope of opportunities there. I mean, we've recruited people into, and I suppose people tend to think and more end up in places like risk advisory and consulting, but we've had veterans successfully transfer into tax. We've got people in our internal client services service line, which is areas like marketing and IT and human resources. So yeah, no, people need to think much more widely, and certainly not just accounting. In fact, probably most of our veterans aren't in roles where they've got an accounting background.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we have had some people who have gone down the accountancy route. I think that we get asked that question more and more at the moment, and we've got some real success stories there. But also it comes back to your question about transferable skills, because a lot of people will know us as auditors, but that's not just about financial audit. And some of those transferable skills, if we've got people from the military who have worked in a regulated environment and they've often carried out some kind of audit function, it's absolutely transferable. But we actually find probably most of our ex-military people don't go into public sector types of roles. So we've got people who work with everything from manufacturers to television companies to banking. You know, it's so broad.
I've got be really clear on this one. Actually, we're one of the most diverse firms, and whilst Liz mentioned it's not a recruitment event for Deloitte, it's about education and making people aware of what's out there. I look at an organisation like ours and our competitors as well. They are tremendously diverse and full of innovation, digitisation, and all of the kind of hot topics that industry is faced with and is looking for the skills to fill. So it's moving at such pace, it's quite remarkable, and it's driven by that technology.
I think often our clients invite us in because they have got a challenge that they don't know what the answer is to. And one of the things that ex-military people are very good at is they are not frightened of a challenge. So they often will have a huge amount of experience taking on things that other people wouldn't want to take on and coming out with a positive solution at the end. So I always say, don't underestimate the fact that you can often sit there and ponder a question and come up with a set of solutions and be very brave about it. You know, it's quite innovative, the world that we work in.
Oh, great.
And you've just identified another couple of transferable skills. To come back to your previous question, that can-do attitude and problem solving, those are huge, and people that have got veterans now working for them in the business remark on those traits that they bring.
Oh, great. So speaking of veterans, then, how big is the military network within Deloitte?
It's growing, and actually what we found is it's more than just people who have left the military. So you know, we take people in sometimes as a cohort, sometimes they come in through the military network because we can onwardly refer, but other times, more often than not, they apply for a job. So you know, we've probably got well over
a latest count, because someone did it a couple of weeks ago, just over 100 currently working, but that means we've also now got quite a good alumni group of veterans who've come and they've worked here after they've left and they've now moved on elsewhere. So it's a sort of a moving target, but currently we've got just over 100 working here.
Great. And how do people who want to come on this Insight Day access that network? Is there a transition programme that they can go through?
It tends to be through our website. They would apply for the Insight Day itself.
Right.
But what we do actually find is, because we're quite visible, we're very transparent on our LinkedIn profiles, and when we've got events that we're running, we really try and get them out there as quickly as we can. And most of our members of our network are really active in helping other people grow networks. You know, we're very plugged into the broader military community, I would suggest.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's not just about Deloitte's network, it's about the connectivity of that network with HSBC, with Barclays, with BT, with Jaguar Land Rover, with all of the other organisations that are heavily involved in this. And so there aren't many organisations out there that actually the really big ones that don't have a view or a programme or something related to this activity. So what it's really about is identifying the people in those organisations that you can hook into. The Insight Day itself just serves as a mechanism for you to do that, either through people in Deloitte or indeed people that are attending the Insight Day with you, because guess what, they're talking to other people and other organisations as well. So, the Insight Day itself serves as a great platform to have a really good conversation, but not just with us, with people that are attending.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you also meant, once our veterans, if someone does end up working here, there's then a network and a programme. So we've got the Deloitte Military Transition and Talent Programme, which has got a whole lot of activity in the sort of whole transition and military space. And we have an internal military network that sits alongside our other diversity network. So yes, and that's not just veterans, that's people within Deloitte who've got friends and family in the military or want to support military charities. So there's that way of staying connected.
It's a brilliant support structure, because when I came in 4 years ago, it's really useful to have someone that's done it ahead of you. And so when you're a little bit bewildered, whether it's the jargon or whether it's how just the different community, having somebody that you can go and have that, what do I do now, or is it just me? It's really, and I think supporting each other is a really big part of it.
That's great. So that just leaves us to thank Chris, Liz and Lynn for their time today. Make sure you sign up for the Insight Day on the link below, on our Facebook page and our events page as well. See you later.